Wow. So, let me shut that. So, last night, guys, or yesterday actually, which was Sunday, we butchered our big bird. This is a turkey, obviously. I guess it doesn't have to be obvious, but this is what happens when they get too large. This bird was so big, we had to, when we put him into the water bath to pluck his feathers, we had to cut off his wings. We wouldn't have let it gone that long, but we kind of got attached to that bird, so I don't recommend you guys getting attached to your birds. But then he was starting to show some signs of aging. But this guy is born in March, so how many months is that? You guys do the math. And without his wings, at this size, he is 37 pounds. So he's probably a 50-pound bird to start off with. We've taken off his head and his neck and his wings, just so that we could process him better. And without all of that, this is 37 pounds of turkey meat. So what I'm going to do today, since this is something that our turkey freezer bags are too small for, I'm going to go ahead and cut this turkey up, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So here we go, guys. First, I got to get him out of this. See if I can do this with grace. A little bit of turkey juices around, so I'm going to try to do this where you guys can see it good enough. Okay, so first we're going to go into the joint here. This is a very sharp knife, guys. It's not our butchering knife, but turn him on his side and kind of just follow this joint all the way around. Okay, and then back into here. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of pull it apart. Dig in there, get the connective tissue. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same with this, guys, because what I want to do is I want to separate the legs all at once. Just kind of go in that cavity there, and see how it's just, if you look at both of these, it's just separating. If you follow the natural lines, like to do. Should have worn an apron. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of pull down this skin a little bit, trying to find all the natural . And then you guys can see right here, there's another natural line, right? Nope. I just cut into my fingernail. Careful when you're doing this, guys. Okay, I need to disconnect it here. The thigh always goes a lot higher than you realize. Okay. There's a joint, so I want to expose that joint. Here. See how it's coming apart there? And then it just pulls right out of the joint. Try to not get your Here's the full leg, guys. You can see how big that is. So I'm going to cut that in two, but first we'll get the other leg off. Take off some of this meat right here. Okay. Now, I would never recommend doing a bird this big, and I'll tell you why. He was so hard to process, guys. And I like to do, oh, that's my phone. I like to do as much of a humane kill, what they call a kosher kill, as possible. And so it's so hard because at live weight, he was probably 50 pounds to hang him up, even between me and my husband. Of course, we were all feeling the day before's work. We worked very hard on getting our wood chips all over our yard. And see how there's kind of a natural line there. It even goes up into here, so I should probably go up into there. That's actually part of the thigh. I always forget that part, sorry. Okay, I'm telling you, if you cut it in the right places, and what you really are looking for, guys, is fat lines. So it's hard because this, I'm going to lay a towel underneath my board here, so I'm slip and slide. Special chef's knife. Let's see if this is a little bit better. It'd be really helpful if I had some of that rubber stuff that's supposed to help your carpets from sticking. Okay, that's better already, guys. So knife under the cutting board to save yourself from cutting yourself, guys. Okay. you bring that over on this side so the camera can get it. Okay, see how it just pops right out of the joint when you cut it in the right places. I wish I could show you guys how I do the wings. I do have a whole video on how I cut up my chicken, and it's literally the same process. So leg and thigh number 2. So I'll leave that link below, so feel free to look that up. Okay. Now, we are going to go for the breast. Okay. And so I'm going to do the top. Let's see, split this thing right in half. And I'm going to find that breastbone and go along one side. First, I'm just going to cut the skin open so I can see what I'm working with. And then find and then I'm just going to dissect it along the ribs. My husband wanted to be here to help me with this, but he's at work, and this bird needed to get out of the ice water and be processed all the way. So, just going as close as I can to the ribs and cutting the meat off. I have never ever done a bird this big before. And when you cut that breast open, in chicken and in turkeys, you got that tender loin right in there. So I'm going to break it up in 2 pieces because, I'll just leave that on. Because, you know, that's a meal for me and my husband right there. Now, we did grow very attached to this bird, and it was extremely hard to process. I don't recommend naming your meat birds. Turkeys are exceptionally easy to get close to, as I know some other people I've talked to have attested to. And now it's not the easiest to, well, bone in there. I think it's, and there is our other turkey breast, which we might have one of those. Look at all that meat in there. So we're going to have to boil this down, the rest of this meat, and make some turkey soup or something. And either put it. What we like to do on our homestead is that we pre-make meals, and so we'll probably boil this down and make some turkey soup with the carcass. Kind of like chicken noodle soup, but turkey style. Okay, And I'm just cutting as close to the bone as possible. Might be a couple thin layers in there, but that's okay, guys. It's hard when he's lopsided like that. I'm trying to show you guys at the same time. And trying to be safe at the same time. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to cut up that rib. Just kind of broke that rib right there. Cut into that so it comes off the bone there. And again, here's our tenderloin right in here, which I kind of cut up this time. That's okay. Now, because I couldn't get him in a killing cone, we have a little bit of blood here. So this would not be considered a kosher kill, unfortunately. But we're not going to waste the meat. We were debating. And there we go, guys. There's our other turkey breast. And so I'm going to save this carcass. I'll put it in a soup pan and or a pot. I do have a stew pot this big, and we will cook them up. Let's just start breaking this down. Now, on these turkeys or chickens, same thing. There's a line a fat line that you just kind of follow when you're doing these. And okay, there we go. There we go, guys. You know what this reminds me of? Disneyland. If you guys have been to Disneyland and you see this is actually bigger than the ones at Disneyland though. It's a nice piece of thigh, boneless thigh. So this will go in a bag. And I'm going to rinse all of these off really good before I put them in a bag, guys. We'll cut. There's no way I'm going to fit this in a gallon bag. So I'm going to have to cut this turkey breast in half. What a shame. But, there we go. The turkey breast is really heavy. I'm thinking it's about 15 pounds each turkey breast. Okay. I mean, look how thick that is. So, okay. Do the other side. Drumstick. Okay, found the joint a lot quicker on this one. I'm just cutting through that tendon. I'm not sawing through the bone, guys. It's going to be easier to get out from this side. There we go. You're just hearing the tendons pop open, guys. Man, that's a tight tendon. Okay. Okay. Got a little more skin off that one. That's okay. So I'm just going to put these in bags now, guys. Rinse them off really well, put them in bags, and that's it. So that's how you cut up a whole turkey. Again, if you're interested in knowing how to cut off the wings, I'll leave that chicken video below, and that will show you how. But we got her done today. So I'm just going to put these in freezer bags, and then when my husband gets home, we'll put them in the shrink wrap bags. So thank you for coming along with me today, you guys. Please take a moment and like and subscribe. Leave a comment below, and I would love to hear from you. And as always,